They say in the village of Akokwa, the moon sees everything. And on certain nights, when it hangs full and silver over the baobab trees, the dead speak. This is the story of Amora, and the letters that came after her death. Amora was born with empty hands in a world that demanded full ones. While other girls in Akokwa village wore beads that caught the sunlight and wrappers dyed in indigo and gold, Amora wore the same faded cloth her mother had left her before dying of fever. While others ate from calabashes filled with fufu and egusi soup, Amora scraped the burnt bottom of the pot. But Amora had something they didn't, a sister. Zora. 2 years older, fierce as a cornered leopard, brilliant as the morning star. "We will rise above this," Zora would whisper to Amora as they huddled together on their raffia mat. "I promise you, little sister. We will rise." Amora believed her. She believed in many things. She believed Chief Adewale when he promised her a position in his household if she kept his secret meetings with the timber merchants quiet. She believed Mama Chinyo, the wealthy trader, when she said she'd sponsor Amora's education in exchange for small help in her shop. She believed Pastor Elijah when he blessed her and said God had special plans for the faithful. She believed Danjuma, the blacksmith's handsome son, when he whispered promises under the mango tree and left her with child. Amora believed until belief killed her. They found her body in the river on a moonless night. The night after she threatened to expose them all, the chief's corruption, Mama Ngozi's smuggling operation, the pastor's stolen church funds, Danjuma's 3 other pregnant girlfriends. The village elders ruled it suicide. Shame drove her to it, they said, shaking their heads. Poor girl, with child and no husband. The river spirits had claimed another desperate soul. Only Zara knew the truth. She'd seen the bruises that warned from rocks. The fingerprints on Amora's neck. The way her sister's body was found far downstream from where a person would jump. At the burial, Zara didn't cry. She stood silent as a stone while they lowered her sister into the red earth. She washed each face, Chief Adewale wiping false tears, Mama Chinyo clutching her Bible, Pastor Elijah offering hollow prayers, Danjuma nowhere to be seen. And as the moon rose that night, thin as a knife blade, Zara made a promise to the darkness. They will confess, Amora. Every single one. 3 nights later, when the moon swelled to fullness, Chief Adewale found a letter on his pillow. His hands trembled as he unfolded the paper. The handwriting was Amora's, he'd seen it on the ledgers she kept for him. "Chief, you promised me safety. You gave me danger. You promised me a future. You gave me silence. Now I am silent forever, but not for long. When next the moon is full, everyone will know what you hide. Unless you confess." Amora, from the place between river and sky. The chief's scream woke his entire compound. "She's haunting me. The dead girl is haunting me." By morning, the whole village knew. By evening, 3 more people had received letters, all appearing mysteriously in their homes, though doors were locked and windows shuttered. Mama Chinyo found hers in her cash box, written on paper that smelled of river water. Pastor Elijah discovered his tucked into his Bible, the pages damp and cold. Danjuma's letter was pinned to his workshop door with a thorn from the mango tree where he'd seduced Amora. Each letter the same: confess before the next full moon, or the truth will scream louder than your lies. Fear spread through Akokwa like wildfire in the dry season. People whispered that Amora's spirit walked on moonlit nights, her wet footprints appearing on compounds, her voice carried on the wind. Some claimed to see her figure by the river, standing where she died, pointing accusingly at the village. The 4 who'd received letters stopped sleeping. They burned candles through the night, consulted witch doctors, tied protection charms around their necks. But the moon doesn't care about charms. As the next full moon approached, a second round of letters arrived, more detailed, more damning. Chief Adewale's letter listed exact amounts embezzled. Mama Chinyo's revealed hidden warehouses. Pastor Elijah's quoted scripture alongside his hypocrisies. Danjuma's named every girl he'd ruined. How does she know? They whispered. How can a ghost know such things? The pastor was the first to break. During Sunday service, under a half moon rising through the church windows, he collapsed at the pulpit, weeping. I stole from God's house. I took the offerings meant for orphans. Amora knew, and I wanted her silent. Forgive me. His confession opened the floodgates. By the next full moon, all of Akokwe gathered at the village square. They came to hear the truth, to watch the guilty fall. Mama Chinu confessed to running an illegal scheme that had cheated dozens of villagers, including Amora's family. Chief Adewale admitted to taking bribes that diverted school funds that could have educated girls like Amora. Danjuma was dragged forward by his own father, the blacksmith, who'd found the latest letter and learned his son's true character. I lied to her, Danjuma sobbed before the assembly. I promised marriage and gave her shame. When she threatened to tell everyone, we. The word rippled through the crowd. All of us, Chief Adewale said, his voice hollow. We met that night. All four of us. We couldn't let her expose us. We thought if she was gone. The confession was complete. Murder, not suicide. As the village erupted in rage and grief, demanding justice, no one noticed the young woman standing at the edge of the crowd, her face calm, her eyes dry. Zara watched them drag the four away to face the king's justice in the city. She watched the village finally see the corruption that had festered in its heart. And she touched the stack of letters in her wrapper, letters she'd written in careful imitation of her sister's hand, letters she'd planted using the network of children and outcasts no one noticed, letters she'd made appear only on moonlit nights because she knew fear grew strongest in moonlight. That night, as the full moon climbed high, Zara walked to the river where Amora had died. She'd learned everything, piece by piece. Amora had kept diaries, hidden in a hollow tree, filled with names, dates, evidence. Before she died, she told Zara where to find them, if anything happens to me. Zara had taken those secrets and weaponized them. She'd studied Amora's handwriting until she could forge it perfectly. She'd recruited street children to deliver letters, paying them to say they'd found the letters floating on the river. She'd spread rumors of sightings, paid a woman to scream that she'd seen Amora's ghost. She turned the village's superstition into a blade and cut through their lies. Did I do right, Amora? Zara whispered to the moon-silvered water. You believed in justice through proper channels. I believe in justice by any means. The river offered no answer, but the moon seemed to shine brighter. Zara took the last letter from her wrapper, one she'd written to herself, in her own hand this time. Dear Zara. You don't need to pretend I'm haunting anyone. You know I'm gone. But you made them believe. You made them afraid. You made them confess what no court could force from them. Thank you for not letting me die in vain. Thank you for being what I couldn't, ruthless enough to win. Rest now, sister. Let the moon witness, we rose above it all. Amora, through you. She burned the letter, watching the ashes scatter on the water. As she turned to leave, an old woman approached, one of the village widows Mama Chino had cheated. We know, the woman said quietly. Zara froze. We know there was no ghost. Some of us saw you. The children talk. The pieces fit together. The old woman smiled, her face kind in the moonlight. But we will never tell. You gave us justice when no one else would. You gave that girl peace. That's stronger than any ghost. Other figures emerged from the shadows, the poor, the overlooked, the ones Amora had tried to help. One by one, they nodded to Zora and disappeared back into the village. And so, the story passed into legend. In Akokwa village, they still speak of the ghost letters that came under the full moon. They still warn the corrupt and powerful, the dead are watching. Amora is watching. But those who know the truth understand something deeper. Sometimes the most powerful haunting is the one you create. Sometimes justice needs a sister's hand, not a ghost. And on moonlit nights, if you listen carefully by the river, they say you can hear two voices laughing, one from the earth, one from the water. Sisters, forever. In African tradition, the full moon is the eye of heaven. It sees all. It forgets nothing. And sometimes, it uses the living to speak for the dead. This is a work of fiction, but the truth it carries is ancient. Loyalty is the strongest magic, and justice delayed is justice that must be taken. What would you do for your sister? For your brother? For the truth? The moon is watching.